Although in the overall gender ratio women significantly outnumber men, within the state system, both mothers-in-law and women aim to find a man within the system, even if it requires high dowries and marriages that favor bringing the husband into their families. In recent years, men within the state system have occupied the top tier of the dating market. However, single men over 30 within the system, or those who have been single for more than 1 or 2 years, face serious difficulties in finding a partner. This situation is almost without exception and is unrelated to their looks, personality, family background, or the fact that they entered the system later due to extended education. So, what's the reason? It's because their expectations are far beyond their actual qualifications. Men over 30 within the system, from ordinary families and with average looks, have a unified standard. They want to find a beautiful woman within the system or from a very wealthy and powerful family. A woman from a moderately affluent family won't do, and neither will someone with average looks. But where are these beautiful women? They are scarce. Beautiful women within the system or from extremely wealthy families are even scarcer. And these women also seek men with good conditions and good looks, which means they are not interested in average men within the system. I've received many consultations like this. Men from the system come to me to complain, full of dissatisfaction. I often share these cases in groups. I always tell them, you just need to let go of the demand for high beauty standards and find someone pleasant to the eyes and comfortable to be with, and your problems will be solved. But none of them accept my advice because they believe in the sayings. In books, there are houses of gold, and in books, there are beauties like jade. They refuse to let go of either of these two conditions. Once again, let me repeat. Either a beautiful woman within the system or a beautiful woman from a highly wealthy family. They cannot compromise on this. And that's the real reason why they remain single after the age of 30. Any other reason is just an excuse. For men within the system, even if they don't own a house, even if they are unattractive, even if they have difficult personalities, if they want to get married, they will. Often, it's the mothers-in-law themselves who make efforts to arrange the marriage. In the end, they reluctantly marry a woman within the system or someone from a middle to upper class family outside the system. However, they remain dissatisfied, feeling like they lost out. This sense of loss and dissatisfaction ultimately affects their marital relationships and daily lives. Do you think you can be happy living with a man who doesn't value you, feels like he lost something, and believes he deserves compensation?
The issue of marriage nowadays in cities, like Shanghai, has become almost a financial transaction. It's no longer about loving someone, it's about what you have and how much you can spend. Want to see? In Shanghai, people already know the rule. If you don't have money, forget it. The idea of finding a wife has practically been abandoned. Instead, you have to ask yourself, how much will I spend to get married? The answer is shocking. We're talking about properties that cost millions of yuan, 90 square meter houses that can cost between 7,000 and 9,000 yuan per month. And that's not all. A man has to secure everything at least 2 years in advance. Some people are even planning 2 years ahead, because in Shanghai's mentality, marriage has become an investment. And the car then? It's not enough just to have a house, no. To be in the game, you need cars that cost millions of yuan. Damn, it's a lot of money. It's no longer about love, it's a real exchange of goods and status. The cost is absurd, so high that many people feel really pressured to give up on the idea of marriage. Why invest so much in something so uncertain? A marriage has become a business, an investment you make in a woman, but you don't know what you'll get in return. And in Shanghai, it's even clearer. If you have money, fine, the daughter will marry you. But if you don't have the conditions, there's no conversation. It's all about level. The pressure that mothers in Shanghai put on their children is something hard to understand, a reality that seems surreal for those who are not used to it. When I was trying to find a wife, a friend introduced me to a woman, a friend of his neighbor's daughter. The first thing she asked me, without even knowing me properly, was how many houses my family had. I, not knowing what to say, said we had 2 or 3, but she replied, "Oh, my family has 7 or 8. It became clear, we didn't have enough level for her. In their mentality, If you don't have at least 5 or 6 houses, you're basically discarded. What this shows is that women in Shanghai are extremely realistic and demanding. The amount of material goods you have says everything about who you are. Many of my friends are in this situation. They have a house, a good job, but simply gave up on finding a wife. Why? Because the cost is too high. They think it's not worth spending so much money just to try to please someone. Their logic is simple: I have my house, my car, my life. Why should I spend all this to marry a woman who's just going to keep demanding more and more? They don't accept the spending standard imposed by society. Marriage in Shanghai costs about 100,000 yuan, and even that is little. Women want more, between 500,000 and 600,000 yuan. And, honestly, for many men, these conditions are unacceptable. They feel that women don't have good intentions and, because of that, prefer to stay single. What used to be a love relationship has now become a business relationship. In Shanghai, being single is no longer a problem, it's almost the norm. Marriage has become a burden, a weight, and people are starting to realize this. Those who are married feel like they've lost their freedom, and those who are single have complete control of their lives. But those who've never gone through this think that finding a wife is easy, right? It's not. Women no longer depend on men. They have their own space and can achieve things on their own without the need for a husband. This is very common in Shanghai. I can tell you, in Shanghai, there are many useless men, those guys who just want to have fun, no commitment, no ambition. This makes many women change their perspective and start thinking that maybe being single is better. They gather with their friends, share their frustrations, and begin to understand that they don't need a man to be happy. But the truth is, men who really have ambition are few. I've met hundreds of guys in Shanghai, and there are very few who actually have a life plan, who are looking for something serious. The rest are just having fun, and with that, the pressure to marry only increases. So, many end up giving up on the whole system. What remains is a vicious cycle. Men don't want to spend so much on a marriage that seems more like a debt than a life project, and women, who used to be dependent, are becoming more and more independent. And the singles? Well, are they thinking about the future? No. They are so busy having fun and living life that they don't even think about what will happen when they get older. I'm 40 years old, and I confess I don't know what I'll do when I'm 70. But the question is, those who are single think their life is good this way. However, those who are married realize that marriage has become a burden, a cemetery of freedom. So, the big question that remains is it really worth investing so much in something that, in the end, can be so empty? Marriage in Shanghai, like in many big cities in China, has turned into a big numbers game. It's no longer about love, it's about what you have, what you can pay. And in the end, many prefer to stay out of this game because they know the cost is too high. Personally, I also think that the price of this game is not worth it.
I am the Yulao from Shaanxi. The current marriage market has turned men into lambs ready for slaughter. I'm not sure if what I'm saying is correct. You can listen carefully. The pace of social development is so fast that it's hard to keep up, no matter how clear the memory is. Reality is the force that decides everything. In today's marriage market, even so, the old notion of man chasing woman has become a thing of the past. The so-called male and female channels have turned into men's desires. The world is changing too fast. Today, the marriage market has completely become women's domain. In the blink of an eye, men have become lambs to be slaughtered. Why? The older generation had 3 great dishes, and the greatest was not having descendants. This led to the current situation of more men than women. And this situation created an economic foundation for the current reality. You know, the male-to-female ratio in China is 30 million more men than women. These 30 million men are surely hopeless bachelors. With economic development and social transformation, traditional culture and customs have undergone significant changes. In this materialistic and restless atmosphere, the marriage market has undergone a huge change. What caused this? Currently, in the marriage market, besides a few men who have the power to choose, These men are those with high education, high income, and good families. The majority of men have no right to choose at all. Meanwhile, women's demands are constantly rising. Buying a house, renovating, the marriage gift have become three huge mountains over men. The social structure has determined that most people are ordinary people. House, renovation, marriage gift, a lifetime of hard work, and many can't achieve it. Even when they do, it's extremely difficult. More importantly, for the woman's demands. These are just the basic conditions, the minimum baseline. Some require the house to be in the woman's name. Some require the man to take no debt. Some require a huge marriage gift. Some require no housework after marriage. Some require the man to pay a certain amount for her personal consumption. There are countless demands. And the most important thing is that even when the man gives everything, there's no guarantee. Women become more free-spirited. Any small issue can lead to divorce. A huge sacrifice suddenly becomes nothing. The risk is simply too great. In this situation, women have no worries. They become reckless, going to bars, clubbing, not coming home at night, while men can only swallow their anger. Compromise. At home, women hold all the power, with willpower and force. Men at home have no position, always cautious. Women constantly complain that men earn too little, that they're not romantic, that they're not funny, that they're not handsome, always dissatisfied, while men deprive themselves. Work hard. Remember their wife's birthday with care. Every day related to women. It's really exhausting. Taking care of the kids and doing housework. That's just everyday life. Oh, poor men. Powerful women. What do you think? Am I right? Remember to like and follow. Thank you.
Everyone is having trouble finding a quality partner. Do you know what the real core issue is? A lot of people think it's. Nowadays, everyone is immediate-oriented. Everyone is choosing and rejecting. But in reality, it's not the core problem we can discuss. It's that. Actually, it all started when our economy began to decline. You can see. Let's use the real estate market as an example. The real estate market now has collapsed completely. Everyone knows this, right? The impact of real estate on related industries is huge. Right? Before, everyone sacrificed a lot to buy a house. Now, right? Does your house still worth that much? Has your house been delivered? When the real estate market collapses, all the companies involved go down with it. The suppliers. Right, the buildings are not delivered. Nothing is left. This affects a large number of people. Everything is going downhill. Since the trade war, now many people can't see any hope. There's no one taking loans from banks. Right, no one wants to get into debt. And with no hope, the money isn't circulating. When it doesn't circulate, big guys can't make money either. Before, it was all based on debt, based on leverage. Everyone could make money. Everyone was spending money from the future. But now, people can't see the future anymore. So, those big guys, do they still dare to invest? Ask businesses now. Everyone knows I have my own business. Right? Look, we are just surviving to avoid losses. Right? Would you say there's any growth now? They don't dare to say they are growing. So, the quality men are a small number. And now the competition is fierce. And the number is gradually decreasing. Right, the big guys don't want to spend anymore. They keep picking and rejecting. 1.1s, house. Future, there's education, healthcare, retirement. Anyone who comes. Anything with a low cost. Can I just find a partner? I don't want to get into debt anymore. I bought a house. Right, how much did it cost? I won't go into debt anymore. Does everyone see the current situation? Everyone is in a negative state. Hey, don't criticize me. What did I say before? What did I say before? Now, How much has the decline gone?
Did you notice?
In 2023 or 2024? In 2023, Rampage was that year. Right, In the Name of the People was that year. Undercover was that year. I ask, can you name a good TV show now? Look back and see if there's. It's all small investments. You know that. So now no one spends. Everything is blocked. Where do I find a quality man? The bonuses are decreasing. Many women don't see the competition. Those who can really offer emotional value? The excellent women. They've already taken the initiative. And many others are waiting for what? That's why they keep searching. The marriage market keeps accumulating more and more people. But the quality ones are just a small part. This part can only be taken by those who provide emotional value. Emotionally stable women. And with decent self-worth. With skills. Now those who can conquer are those who know how to make others comfortable. The others? They'll always stay here. Because they want to find something better. I think it's not a problem. You can't just choose anyone. Yes. I'd rather stay single than choose someone bad. But this forces people to overload. Overload. But the big guys who are doing well in business are going downhill. Falling. Right, the opportunity for bonuses is decreasing. Can you talk about the wedding industry? Look, now I'm busy. What does this mean? I've been in the marriage counseling business for 11 years. Helping many people. Solve real problems. Find quality partners. And solve real problems. Right, ask someone now. How many people want to get into the relationship industry?
Can they make it?
Now. Right, do you have the first position? Do you have the accumulated experience? Do you have the capital for this? Look, do they have that capital now? So, what I want to say is that no one understands how terrible the competition is. The marriage and relationship market. It's really hard. But many people don't know that this difficulty has already started in 2018.
Is the marriage and relationship market in China really exploding? The reality of many arranged marriages is showing that beyond unrealistic expectations, social pressure is stronger than ever. There are reports of women born in the 2000s arriving at arranged meetings with 3 months of pregnancy, or of women weighing 150 kilos who demand tall, handsome, and rich men. And the most intriguing thing of all, some claim to be single, but in reality, they're not divorced yet. Recently, the famous marriage program Wang Po exposed these distortions in the Chinese marriage market. A 30-year-old dance teacher from Wuhan earning a modest salary demands a man who is over 1.80 meters tall with a salary of 200,000 yuan in the public sector or more than 300,000 in the private sector. One commenter responded, "I earn 2,800 yuan a month and I didn't even look at her." The gap between expectations and reality seems to be becoming more and more evident. In addition, a 31-year-old teacher with no specific demands met 6 men in a row, but none pleased her, and she repeatedly interrupted the meetings. The case of a young woman who was 3 months pregnant attending an arranged meeting raises questions about how aware these women are of how unrealistic their expectations are. Many women must think that, with 30 million more men than women in China, they will have no trouble getting married. Some even believe that if everything fails, they can find a man with a house and a car. However, the data shows otherwise. In large cities, marriage platforms indicate that in some areas, the ratio is 1 man for every 40 women. This discrepancy reflects a distorted view of marriage and relationships that is affecting many people's expectations. The problem, however, is not only with women. They have been shaped by a capitalist system that exploits their expectations and keeps them feeding into a dream of a Prince Charming. Movies and TV shows have created the image of a perfect man, handsome, rich, and totally dedicated. Women grow up immersed in these stories, which distort their perception of reality. To fuel this market, capital realized that while it tried to please men, the impact on women was much greater. This led to increased social pressure on women, who are constantly bombarded with messages about the importance of appearance, material success, and the search for a perfect man. As a result, many end up creating unrealistic expectations about real men who will never be good enough for them. The impact of this is also felt in relationships. Many men are starting to realize that women want everything: looks, money, material goods, and total dedication without offering reciprocity. As a result, some men choose to look for partners outside of China. Foreign women, willing to share responsibilities and without demanding everything, become an attractive option. In some regions, such as Guangxi, the proportion of Chinese men marrying foreign women has already exceeded 90%. This phenomenon is a growing reality. In countries like Japan and Korea, where machismo is still strong, Chinese men have become increasingly sought after. This reflects a trend that is gaining momentum not only in Asia, but also in places like the United States and Canada. Capital has created a vicious cycle, promoting a market that fosters unrealistic expectations, leading many women to stray from reality. The concept of a prince charming has become an impossible dream, while foreign women with simpler expectations are starting to gain ground. What do you think about this topic? I'd love to hear your opinion in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. See you in the next video.